In this video, I'm going to show you how to prepare press files when you want to order something with a spot gloss. So I've got a business card here and it's been approved. We're ready to go to the printer. And when I get it printed, I want this area of the logo to be gloss as well as the word, since this is all the logo. And I also want to do something with this line. So the first thing I'm going to do is make sure that I have it ready to go to print. So I'm going to make sure I've got the bleeds set to the size that my printer wanted. Anything that bleeds off is actually bleeding. And I'm going to do a save as. And I'm going to make sure I put spot gloss in the title. So when you send your spot gloss file, it only should have black in areas where you want the gloss. So it's very important not to move anything on your page when you make that file, or the gloss isn't going to line up with the print underneath. So if I wanted this line to be gloss, this is a simple one. I'll just change the stroke color to black, not registration, just the flat black. And these boxes aren't going to have anything that has gloss in it. Spot gloss is really dicey to do on anything that's small print because it might not exactly line up. So these aren't going to be glossed, so I'll delete those two boxes. This line's ready to go. And this logo is a linked Illustrator file, which is the proper practice, but it's not as simple as just clicking on it and changing the colors. So I'm going to go into Illustrator, and here's that logo. So I'm going to do a save as again. And name it appropriately. And then I can make those changes here. So I want this area to be gloss. So I'll change that to black, and again the 000 black. And I want this word to be black. So I'm going to select all those pieces since that's been properly turned to outlines. And change that. So I'll save this file. Go back to InDesign. Click on my logo box and do File Place. Place my spot gloss version. And because I didn't change anything, it shouldn't move at all when I place it in. You could always, if you want to be extra super careful, you could copy your logo. So Command-C or Edit Copy. And then do an Edit Paste in Place, which is Shift-Option-Command-B. So now I have two of them stacked exactly on top of each other. So I'll put that back, and then click on the top one, and I will place that spot gloss file. And it looks like the same thing has happened, even though there's one underneath. So the way to get rid of the one underneath is click on the top one, hold your Command key, and click again in an area where there's shape, and it will select the thing underneath it. In InDesign, it'll keep doing that through however many layers you have. Every time you Command click, it'll select the thing underneath it. If you don't move your mouse and click again, it selects the thing underneath that, and so on and so on and so on. So now that I have my 000 black in all the areas I want to do spot gloss, this is ready to be submitted as my gloss file. The other thing you can do with gloss is create sort of a pattern overlay or something that doesn't relate necessarily to being directly over ink on your print. So you could do something like have multiple lines, or one project I did, we had sort of a checkered pattern that related to the product. There's lots of possibilities, but just remember that the gloss is an extra layer, and if you're going to go ahead and pay for it, it's worth thinking about if you could do something creative that ties into the subject of your design and isn't just necessarily over design elements. Often if you're having a print job that's going to use spot gloss, it's also a good idea to put it over any pictures. So I'm just going to toss a picture in here real quick just for an example. All right, so I've got this photo. And this should bleed, so I'll make sure that goes to the bleed line. And that it fills the top there. So now all I have to do is select that box, change the fill to black, just like we changed this stroke to black. Click on this target in the middle, or get it with the direct selection tool so that you see the brown border, and just hit delete, and now you've got a black box where that photo was. So in this case, we would have spot glass over that photo, over this line, and over these parts of the logo. So I'll do a file export. Make sure I've got Adobe PDF print. And I know this document has 2 pages, and I'm only going to gloss on one, so I'm only going to include the page I need. Use whatever standard your printer tells you to. Go to Marks and Bleed. Include any marks they tell you to, but if they don't tell you to include any, don't include any. Make sure you choose to include bleed. And there's that file that you would submit to have gloss printed, in addition to the normal front and back files. That's how you handle spot gloss for commercial printing.